I call this meeting to order on May 12th, Tuesday, May 12th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Sharon McDonald.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Josh Rudin.
Here.
Commissioner Baxter Patillo.
Here.
Commissioner Stephen Burnett.
Here.
Commissioner Warren Robinson.
Here.
Commissioner Al Hernandez.
Here.
Commissioner Mark Tapley.
Here.
Madam Mayor, we have a quorum.
Okay, we're going to have the invocation by Commissioner Robinson and the Pledge of Allegiance by Mayor Pro Tem Reardon.
Please join me in prayer. Eternal and gracious Heavenly Father, we invite your presence. We invoke your name. Be here with us. Lord, send us an extra measure of your wisdom, of your mercy, and of your grace. Bless all of those who work to make this city better. Bless all of those who care about the future of this city. And we thank you, Lord, for the engagement. Keep them uplifted through the changes and the transitions. Bless us to carry your characteristics of mercy and grace and cooperation with all that we do. If you do that, Lord, we'll be prepared, and we'll give you the honor, the glory, and the praise in your Son's holy name. Amen.
Please follow me in the pledge. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion for the approval of the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, so it's been moved by Commissioner Tapley and second by Commissioner Burnett. And we'll go for the vote. We have two presentations tonight. The first one will be the presentation for the proposal of the
Madam
urban...
Mayor, you have to call
Oh,
that
I'm
it was
sorry.
passed.
And the vote passed 7-0. Thank you. Number one on the agenda, presentation for the proposal of an urban air-type family, and this is from the Chaparral Middle School Leadership, Students Leadership, Teacher Grant Miser, or Meisner,
Messer.
Miser,
Messer. Messer.
Messer, Messner, Messer, okay. Are you here? And can you state your name, please?
My name is Lily Alday.
Thank you.
You can pull that microphone to you.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Temp, and Commissioners. I want to thank you for letting us be here tonight and presenting. We are here to present an urban air adventure park for the town of Alamogordo. The purpose of our proposal. For those who do not know, Urban Air is an indoor adventure park that hosts activities such as obstacle courses, zip lines, etc. Why it is needed. Alamogordo lacks indoor entertainment options for families and the youth. Seasonal weather often limits outdoor recreational activities, and local families often travel to Las Cruces or El Paso for the same experiences. Our solution is to launch an urban air adventure park with premium attractions. It hosts year-round indoor fun for the entire population, and it's a safe and active environment that promotes health and community connection. This is a market opportunity for 31,000 residents. Our team, I want to say a special thank you to Grant Messer and all of the other lovely people that could not be here tonight. I also want to thank our research lead, Alyssa Martinez, our design lead, Kenna Kitchens, our finance lead, Leah Rodriguez, and of course, the entire presentation team.
Good evening. My name is Pro Abdullah. Based off our urban air survey with 241 submissions, the results are daunting. One of the questions was, do you think there are enough places for your children to safely socialize and exercise? 84.2% of the 241 submissions said no. One of the other questions was, would you like somewhere fun to go with your family? And 99.2% said yes. Another one of the questions was, on average, how much gas do you use driving out of town to go to fun places? And 21.6% said full. No, wait. 25.3% said full. People clearly want somewhere safe and accessible for their kids to socialize and exercise without having to travel outside of Alamogordo to uphold that. To fix this problem, urban air comes into play, offering a fun and safe place for everyone. It offers market opportunity and community morale. Alamogordo has 31,000 people and an estimated of 100,000 people. What this enjoyable recreation center can provide is birthday parties, school events, and group bookings. Who will benefit from this is families with children from 3 to 17-year-olds, schools, youth groups, and communities, along with businesses such as hotels, restaurants, transportation services, and rental services.
Good evening. My name is Elena Cisneros. For design, our facility and building plans, Urban Air offers two primary franchise models. The 2.0 model, which has a smaller footprint. The core attractions are trampolines, dodgeball, and climbing walls. The typical facility size is 25,000 to 50,000 square feet. The ceiling height requirement is a minimum of 18 to 24 feet for aerial attractions. The 2.5 model, a larger footprint. Premium attractions are Skyrider, Warrior Course, and virtual reality. Our building options are lease or purchase commercial property, or retrofit existing retail spaces or former big box stores, and the new construction would be higher cost or more customization. Attractions and activities. Urban air parks feature a mix of physical, interactive, and immersive attractions. Common offerings include trampoline zones, dodgeball courts, and slam dunk lanes. Climbing and ropes. Climbing walls, rope courses, and a warrior obstacle course. Aerial adventures are Skyrider, Zip Rail, and the Tubes Playground. Interactive zones are virtual reality, laser tag, and arcade games. The toddler areas has soft play zones, mini trampolines, and ball pits. The facility overview. The size would be 3,000 to 50,000 square feet. The ceiling height would be minimum 24 feet. The location, repurposed retail space or new construction. Amenities, lobby and check-in, parent lounge, party rooms, snack bar, restrooms, and retail area. The lobby and check-in would be digital kiosk. The party rooms would be private rooms for birthdays and events. The parent lounge would have comfortable seating, Wi-Fi, and charging stations. Restrooms would be ADA compliant, family-friendly facilities. Food and refreshment zones. Urban air locations typically include a cafe or snack bar with pizzas, pretzels, and nachos, and drinks. Seating area, tables for families and parties. Vending machines, quick snacks, and beverages. Optional add-ons, ice cream stations, and smoothie bars. Our business objectives: launch a full-scale Urban Air 2.5 model park. Achieve $3.8 million in annual revenue within 3 years. Host 200-plus birthday parties annually. Employ 30-plus staff members locally. Our market analysis. Target audience: families with children ages 3 to 17, schools and youth groups. Local demand: limited indoor entertainment options in Alamogordo. Competitive advantage: year-round indoor fun, premium attractions, and party event hosting. Marketing strategy: grand opening event, school partnership, school media campaigns, birthday party promotions, and loyalty programs. Our business model is revenue streams, daily admissions, birthday parties and events, cafe and concessions, merchandise sales, memberships, and loyalty programs, and our profit margin would be 10 to 20%. Operations plans: open 7 days a week, staff, general manager, assistant manager, party host, safety monitors, and cafe staff. Training provided by Urban Air corporate team. Local sponsorship: business sponsor attractions or rooms, naming rights for party rooms, cafe, or lounge, cross-promotion with local brands.
My name is Oceana Workerson, and for the finance, our funding goal is $4.5 million. Use of funds, facility renovation and build-out is $2.2 million. Equipment and attractions are $1.5 million. Franchise fees and legal setup is $100K. Marketing and launch campaign, $150K. Working capital for 1 year is $550K. Return on investment, break even expected by year 3. EBITDA is $500K to $800K annually. Revenue growth of 10 to 15% annually post-launch. Community impact, job creations for 30-plus residents, safe, active recreations for youth economic growth through tourism and local spending. Funding options. 1. Small business administration loans up to $5 million. Interest 6 to 9%. Terms 10 to 25 years. Requires strong credit and collateral. New Mexico Economic Development Grants, job creation and community focus may cover up to 20% of startup cost appliances through New Mexico Ed or local chamber. Hourly rates. Team member/crew will get $12.33 to $12.36 an hour, depending on the location. Court monitor gets $9 to $17 per hour. Party host is $13 to $19 per hour. Front desk cashier is $13 to $18 per hour. Shift leader or manager is $12.67 to $13.58 an hour or higher. Assistant manager is $21.36 an hour or $43K to $54K a year. General manager, $34 an hour to $57,867 yearly. Insurance and operating costs. General liability insurances required cost variations by location, carrier, and coverages finance charter. Occupation costs, rent, utilities, taxes, common area maintenance, franchise pattern, payroll, staff wages, management, salaries, benefits, other costs, royalty fees, supplies, advertising, and training. Finance summary category. Initial investment $3.55 million to $8.33 million, depending on size, location, and lease versus purchase. Average annual revenue is $3.8 million per location. Royalty fees 7% of monthly gross sales. Marketing fee up to 5% of monthly gross sales. Net worth retirement 1.5 minimum. Liquid assist requirement $750,000 minimum. EBITDA performance is 44 of reporting parks exceeded averages EBITDA. Finance category total startup cost is $4.5 million. Franchise fee is $75K. Equipment/build out is $3.7 million. Marketing and launch is $150K. Working capital is $550K. Break even is year 3. EBITDA year 3 is $500 to $800K. Investment structure. Total capital to raise from community investors. Target $500,000, approximately 11% of total startup cost. Minimum investment per person is $1,000. Maximum investment per person is $50,000. Share pricing. Cost per share is $1,000. Total shares available is 500. Ownership per share 0.2 equality per 1,000 share. Based off of 500K equals 10% of quality pool. In conclusion, the addition of an urban air adventure park would benefit the town of Alamogordo significantly. Our design for this urban air adventure park is very foolproof and can also have an amazing addition to Alamogordo and give great options for youth indoor play. Urban Air Adventure Park has lots of benefits for Alamogordo, including financial benefits, entertaining youth and family, economic growth, etc. Having an urban air in Alamogordo would bring more money and business to the town as well as job opportunities. This business outlines the strategy to launch a franchise in Alamogordo, New Mexico, targeting families, schools, and youth organizations.
Just in case you didn't have a chance to go through the summary, I don't know how many pages it was, but it was so much detail, and the presentation tonight was excellent. So I want to commend you, Mr. Messer, on the work that these students did, and all of the people that helped you get the data, because it was very impressive. So thank you. Well, you did an excellent job. And I don't know how many other people read it, but it was extremely detailed. And I think when you're doing a presentation, people want to know all of the details as far as financing, where you're going to get the money, who's going to invest. And so it was excellent. So thank you again. Next on the agenda, we have the Animal Control Facility presentation and update. It's Dwayne Martinez, Animal Control Manager, and David McCauley, who is the APD Lieutenant.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. So what we've done here today is Manager Martinez has put together a PowerPoint presentation to highlight some of the hard work that our animal control kennel officers and officers are doing, and also will outline some of the difficulties that we're facing within an old building and such. We've put together some good programs to try and help new owners assimilate and train their animals to make it easier to reduce the amount of animal returns, and go over some of the conditions of the building, that some repairs that we're going to be expecting in the future. So I'll turn it over to Manager Martinez.
Good evening, Mayor McDonald, Mayor Pro Tem Reardon, Commissioners. So we've worked on a little bit of a presentation here, because I know one of the goals that we've talked about over the last few years is to try to go to a no-kill status. We reached a no-kill status in 2021 and 2022. We were running about 93% out the door, which is that's adopted, returned to owners, or sent to rescues. So we ran 93% one year and about 94% another year. We were recognized by Best Friends of America and received two beautiful plaques on that. Well, after that, things kind of fell apart with the amount of animals that were wanting to be turned in. So our numbers fell into the low 80s, high 70s. So what we've talked about, which one is it? So for us trying to go to a no-kill status, the understanding of a no-kill status, okay, the goals is keep animals alive. They can be rehomed, rehabilitated, rescued, or returned to their owners. Okay, that's the main thing. So the adoption, the no-kill model, adoption programs to increase the number of animals leaving alive, spay neuter, trap release programs which reduce population over time, the return to owner that we have also going. So our trap and release mainly is through our CAP program. We've been able to reduce numbers pretty much throughout the city. I know a lot of people don't understand it, and once we explain the trap release program, what it does, it keeps from the small kittens and stuff being born under bushes, brought into us, overcrowding our shelter, the euthanasia rate going up. So we've partnered with Kitty City on that, and that's been a great program over the last 7 years. We've been able to keep pretty much the cat kennel area completely empty. There's been several times I've gone back there and we have no cats whatsoever. It's completely empty, where when I started back around 2010, we were euthanizing like every other day. And it's not a good thing, especially for our officers. That takes a direct toll on their mental ability and also, you know, later on in their physical ability. I've lost officers because of that. So as far as the model, so the foster or rescue placement to give animals safe temporary placement, veterinary care for animals including spay, neuter, vaccines, and treatment for illnesses or injuries. Okay. Implement shelter protocols internally for ACOs. Assessment, evaluate current save rate, and then identify potential obstacles, which a lot of our obstacles we're facing today in today's market as far as when it comes to animal control, and it's just not us, it's across the state. It's Albuquerque, it's Las Cruces, it's El Paso, it's Hobbs. I've reached out to colleagues that I know from, you know, other states across the U.S., and they're going through the same thing we're going through, a big overcrowding of the animals being returned, especially from when COVID is now, you know, we're a few years past COVID. Everybody seemed that they wanted an animal to bring in to their home to keep them company, and now that they've gone back to work, I'm getting a lot of animals returned to us because of excuses that I get, and I want to call them excuses, but what I'm getting is I don't have time. I don't have the patience. I don't have the income to be able to take care of the animals, so where they end up? Back with us. Part of the problem, too, is the base. The base turns in a lot of animals to us. The airmen come in and they bring, you know, they get an animal. First thing they do is when they move into town, they get an animal, and then a year or two later, they're being transferred out to one of their, you know, TDYs for the next year and a half, and so we end up with the animals. That's been a big thing for us. Engaging community, public awareness. So this brain child right here was from Lieutenant Cully. He'd come to me and said he wanted to start some type of training program to be able to introduce to especially new pet owners that don't quite understand when you get a dog or a puppy, what it's going to take to introduce it and bring it into the house. As soon as they get it, they go home. They, you know, the dog chews up a pair of shoes. They can't get, you know, like they get frustrated because they can't train it. So what do? They turn around and bring it to us. So we partner with Positivity Transformational Program, which is Dr. Redendock. He has a wonderful program that he's put together for us that he has twice a month. That he offers it. We offer it's part of our grant from the Carol Petrie Foundation that we're able to pay for these lessons that are given to anybody that adopts from us. We hand them paperwork on it, and there's a QR code that they can scan to register. And some people take it, some don't. Some of the people trying to return the animals to us, we try to highly encourage them, you know, to try to use this program. So we're hoping that further down the road that this will turn into something really big. It's starting to get bigger as we go along. Advocate for the policy change. Pass a no-kill resolution for Alamogordo committee to save at least 90% of the animals coming through the animal control. Use public data dashboard to show progress and encourage transparency. We're very transparent. Our doors are always open. We will show exactly what we do and how it's done. People don't understand that a no-kill shelter doesn't mean that it's 100% no-kill. No-kill shelters have to put down 10% of their animals because of sickness, an animal being injured, and so forth. They, you know, can't save them all, especially when they come in really sick or they've been run over. So that's where the 10% comes in there, that you have to be 90% or higher to be able to be considered no kill. Measures and improvement, adjust program based on data and community feedback. We're always looking for community feedback. We have our Facebook. We encourage people, if they have an idea, to come in and talk to us about what they think we can make the shelter run smoother. I'm always getting with Lieutenant McCulley, trying to figure out what we can do to try to improve the shelter. So over time, shift the culture from euthanasia as a last resort to save every life possible, which is what we're trying to do now. We have the vet, Dr. Hayes through Buttonbrand. He was the only one that really wanted to work on our contract this last year that we put the new contract together, because of the pricing of what medical costs that they incur with their medicines and when they do surgeries has gone through the roof. Some of the vets talked about that they were losing money, but Dr. Hayes said, no, I'm going to stick with you guys because we need a vet to be able to do this kind of thing. So here are some of our total numbers here for like calls of service and stuff. That's 3,100 in 23. And then, of course, you can see the numbers for dogs and cats that were brought in. And then we'll go on to 24. Calls have gone up. The number of animals that were brought into the shelter have gone up, a lot. And you can see that. 25, we did have a little bit, the calls kind of went down, but the number of animals that were brought in, especially the dogs, just keeps climbing. And now into 26, where they're starting to climb a lot. We've had to start a list for people wanting to turn in animals, because I'm receiving probably 10 to 15 phone calls a day, or people coming in asking to own or impound their animals. If we did that, we were going to be go back to euthanizing every day like it was when I first started. And like I said, that's something that's really tough when it comes to the officers and their mental stability, because they feed, they get close to these animals, they talk to them every day, they work with them, and then when we get full, because we have nowhere to put them, now we've got to pick out the ones we think that maybe not get adopted and have to go and do the unthinkable, which it really takes a big toll on our guys and our females. So the adoptions, if you look there, 23, total were 268, 24, 327, and then, of course, we dropped in 25. Euthanasia. So total euthanized in 23 was 253, 24, 193, and then, of course, now we've jumped back up to 251 and 25. And we've had to euthanize here also quite a bit in 2026. Which I'm hoping we can start turning that number around. We are working with Best Friends of America on transportation to try to get these animals to rescues in Arizona and California. I've been working with them on a dashboard that they have that we put our numbers into, and once we get that all put into place, if we get overrun, I can call them and pick out the ones we need, and then they'll actually come pick up the animals. We're hoping that at some point maybe we can somehow get a couple of vans to do some of our own transporting into Texas or into Arizona. So that's a long term goal for us. Work that has been done in the shelter. We had plumbing that was done, the sewer lines that were leading out of the shelter, which was causing a big backup into the shelter. And come to find out, there was a main line that went up and over a block out there going into the main sewer line that shouldn't have been that way. Roofing had been redone in the back kennel area because it was starting to leak pretty bad back there. We're having to repair hatch doors, and those are the ones for the indoor-outdoor kennels that are it's an old building. I mean, we're looking 40-plus years. Repair on the AC units all summer long because everybody knows how hard our water is here in Alamogordo, and it's swamp coolers in the back. So the caliche and everything that builds up back there. We put new turf in the back play area, and that was through the Carol Petrie grant that we were able to do that. They've been wonderful to us. You know, they've provided probably close to $200,000 in finance for our shelter. So we were able to put turf back there because we didn't have the water pressure anymore to push the sprinkler system that we had at one time because of changes that were made above us up there, you know, at the ball field and everything at the pump house. We had to purchase a tough shed because we're getting pretty crowded in the shelter. So we were able to purchase a tough shed through Carol Petrie to be able to store a lot of our supplies out there and feed and things. We had to do a repair on the main line coming into the building because it had just gotten old, and there was a tree up front at one time that kind of went right through it. We had the front main building repainted. We had brand new flooring installed. I don't know if anybody can remember the old shelter, what it looked like. Had cotton candy pink inside the shelter, which was, it wasn't the best. So we were able to get this repainted, and that also was through the Carol Petrie grant that was able to that fund that for us. And also, we also built what they call an outbuilding because the spay and neuter program, or the TNR, trap and neuter release program, they didn't want the old boxes where people could drop off animals on the north side of the building, because then we didn't know where the animals were coming from. So for one of the first grants we got through Carol Petrie, I think it was right around $60,000, we were able to build an outbuilding it was heated and cooled, new cages put in there, and then there's a cipher lock put on the door where they contact dispatch. Dispatch can open it up manually, and they can put the animals in there and get the information. So thanks to Carol Petrie, we were able to do that one also. This right here is our new dog wash station. That was purchased from, we have a volunteer, Jan Sanchez. We talked about this. We found one online. She went online and started asking for donations, and by God, within an hour and a half, we had the money to be able to do this. So people are wanting to donate to the shelter. They're wanting to help the shelter out as much as they can. This is the cattery that we had built about a year and a half ago to get the cats out of being caged up. We can put them in there. They can roam around. They can play. They get to crawl up on the wall, hide in the boxes. This was also through the Carol Petrie Foundation that we were able to do this. This is the exercise area that like I told you, that Carol Petrie helped fund for us with the turf and the canopy, and also the exercise equipment that we were able to purchase for the animals to get out and exercise them. Repair still needing. Chain link on the gates. Like Lieutenant McCulley and myself, we talked about, chain link is just, you look at our shelter and it's just, it's just drab when you walk in there, and all the chain link and stuff, and the dogs jumping up on it, and it's not safe. Dog prison, yes. The poles that lead into the concrete, like I said, that building is going over 40 years old. They are starting to rust out. We've had to replace some of them because, we're washing down every day. We're using solutions to keep the parvo and the semper down in the shelters back there, so it eats away at what's back there. So some of the repairs, the retaining wall. So we had a heavy rain about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and for some reason it's never done this, but now it's starting to. It came down Fairgrounds Road, jumped over the curb into our back area, and went right through our back kennels, and we were flooded back there up to about halfway up our shin. We had to open up all the doors and get the water pushed out. So at some point we were having to look at maybe some type of retaining wall. Kennels, they need to be repainted. We repainted. They were repainted about 14 years ago through help with the big give from Holloman. but you're talking 14 years ago, and there's been a lot of animals that have come in through that shelter. We would like to do the epoxy on the floor. It's easier cleanup, and it's actually easier for the animals also, because that floor, you know, concrete only lasts so long, and putting solution down on the floor starts to eat it up. The front of the building, one time it was landscaped, but because of some of the rains that we've had and the way that water comes down now, down Fairgrounds Road, it's washed the rocks and stuff, and there's not really any type of landscape or pattern in the front of our building. It just, to me, it's not very appealing when you pull up to it. There's some fencing in the back that needs to be repaired. Like I said, it's chain link, and it just, after a while, it starts to roll up at the bottom, so we're having always to restake it so the animals don't get, you know, out. So that's one of the main repairs that we need to get done also. Here's some of the photos that, you know, that if you look in the ceiling up there, things that are falling apart. That right there is some of the insulation that should be covered, and it's just, it got wet and from before they were able to repair the roof. You can see the way the chain link, the way it happens with the dogs when they're trying to get out and they're pulling on it, which if we were able to get, so wow, I got an echo. If we were able to push for a new shelter, it would be all stainless steel walls, the doors would be stainless steel, and that would be a lot healthier, a lot cleanlier. As you can see, you know, we got concrete, so after a while it gets very porous, so things stay within the concrete and the walls, but that's why we have to use a lot of solutions to help keep the parvo distemper and the bordetella and all that stuff down within the shelter. That's some ducking that's come in for some of our air conditioning, and you can tell where it's just kind of falling apart there. Another photo of another duct that's comes into the building. Yeah, so these are just how the ceiling is just falling apart on us, you know, with that insulation that's up there along the edge there. It's old. So that's some of the rusting that's starting to go on at the bottom of these poles within the shelter. You can see and then once they break off, we have to, you know, try to get them fixed as fast as we can, because now we can't house an animal in there. So we also have, that photo never got in there. That was going to be, so we have a back door also that Dr. Hernandez was able to get funding for us, that the bottom of it in the very back has completely rusted out. I mean, there's daylight about that much through that back door that it's just rusted out over years, and it's one of the original doors that was put in when that back building was built. And it's a safety, and also it's a security issue to, you know, for that door back there. Well, in conclusion, Chili and Bob, they want to say thank you. We're hoping that at some point we can talk about trying to get the shelter to a no-kill status. But one of the main things that, as far as trying to get it to no status, we have to improve our building. And the building where it sits now, I don't know how we would be able to improve that. So we're hoping that maybe we can start looking at some type of resolution or something, mill levies, bond, I don't know, something to be able to get a new shelter built, because people are very animal oriented here in Alamogordo, and they want the best for the animals. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is public comment, and we're going to start with Tamara Hansen. And this is about your oath. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you have 3 minutes to state your,
I'll read fast. I'll try.
all right then. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, City Management, members of the public, and press. I'm Tamara Hansen, President of the City Workers Union, AFSCME Local 3818. I'd like to acknowledge all the city workers present this evening, not just for their united support of the golf course maintenance crew, but for the dedicated service they provide our community and its residents daily. Each of you on this dais this evening took an oath to serve the people of Alamogordo, all of them, including the workers who maintain our public spaces, keep our services running, and care for the Desert Lakes Golf Course. Your responsibility is to the public, not to special interests, cliques, or the loudest voices in the room. The issue is not just about golf. It's about jobs, public accountability, and the kind of city Alamogordo wants to be. It's poor economic policy to take career opportunities away from city residents and replace them with uncertain private sector jobs. You can't sustain and grow a community on low wage and unstable work. You can't ask young people to stay in Alamogordo while eliminating the very jobs that give working families a reason to build a life here. There's no major industry in Alamogordo. Not everyone can work at Holloman or in real estate or healthcare. The city itself must remain a source of stable, skilled, and community-sustaining employment. And part of that workforce is the skilled golf course maintenance crew you're now considering pushing aside. These workers are not disposable. They are trained city employees. They are residents, taxpayers, neighbors, and members of this community. In a time of economic uncertainty, this commission should not be taking away livelihoods, health care, and stability without first proving that doing so is necessary, responsible, and truly in the public interest. Tax dollars paid for the improvements at Desert Lakes, tax dollars paid for the irrigation system, tax dollars paid for the specialized training needed to maintain it. Those tax dollars came from all of us, not just golf course patrons. Desert Lakes is a municipal golf course. It belongs to the public. It should remain accessible, accountable, and operated for the benefit of the whole community. Privatization and dynamic pricing risk moving that public asset further away from the people who paid for it. Show some confidence in the city's own investment. Show confidence in the workers you've trained. Show confidence in the public workforce you already have. We thank Mr. Dalpies for his years of service and wish him a happy retirement. We thank the golfers for their continued support. But we should also thank the employees who maintain that course every day, not reward them with uncertainty and displacement. Alamogordo is capable of managing its own municipal golf course. The answer is not to outsource these workers. The answer is to invest in them, retain them, and give them the support they need to keep serving this community, our community. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person on the agenda is Jane Doe, and she's talking about the golf course.
Oh, well, Jane's shy, so she asked me to read her letter into the record. I'm Tamara Hansen again. And from Jane, she says, to set the record straight, the Family Fun Center, bowling alley, was a commission-led initiative, not to be confused with a city staff-led initiative. The commission decided to build it and have a contractor run and operate the entire facility. No city staff were ever working at the Family Fun Center bowling alley. When that contractor disappeared and defaulted on their contract, the city was left with a facility they could not enter, inspect, or operate until after a fairly lengthy legal process. When the city finally entered the facility, they found damaged equipment and numerous unmet maintenance needs. They also found that the liquor license was suspended because the contractor had not paid taxes owed. Commissioners, can you guarantee the citizens of Alamogordo that this will not happen to the golf course? Can you guarantee that all the taxpayer-funded equipment and facilities will not be damaged, stolen, or shut down for an extended period of time when or if the contractor defaults on their contract? Do you realize that if this happens, there would be no restaurant, no pro shop, no golfing, and depending on how long it takes to work through the legal issues, it could kill the entire course after the millions of dollars just spent to start the rehabilitation process? Because the city would be locked out of their own facility, just like the bowling alley. Will you, the commission, take responsibility for this? Keep golf course maintenance in the hands of the city. Protect the investment. Thank you, Jane Doe.
Thank you. The next person on the agenda is Alberto Palafax. And you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. My name is Albert Palafox, and I have been a city employee for 4.5 years. I am here tonight as a member of AFSCME Local 3818, and as one of the workers who has helped take care of Desert Lakes Golf Course with pride, skill, and dedication. Therefore, outsourcing our jobs would be a mistake because it would have an immediate effect on 7 city employees, the Alamogordo community, and other delayed consequences. The immediate effect is on 7 city employees losing their jobs, benefits, insurance, and retirement. I don't think the Alamogordo community would be in favor of price increase in golf fees, annual membership passes, or the termination of private golf cart usage. But that is a probable possibility if the golf course maintenance is given to a private contractor. Our golf course maintenance supervisor was able to obtain approved funds for a $4 million irrigation system, new water pumps, and windmills. So this would be a gross mismanagement of money partially obtained by tax dollars. In conclusion, these are the reasons why it would negatively affect city employees and community if the golf course maintenance was outsourced to a private contractor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Thaddeus Gilmore, and he's talking about the golf course.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Thaddeus Gilmore, Assistant Superintendent at the golf course, taxpayer, and proud union member. I have 3 serious concerns, and they all point to one issue: whether the public is being given the full truth before major decisions are made with our money, our public works, and our public assets. First, there are serious questions surrounding the reported settlement involving the former city manager. If the city paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to remove city manager who was only hired a few weeks ago, then the public deserves to know full transparency. This is not a small personnel matter. This is public money. And when public money is spent at the level that it has been, the people have a right to know what happened, what decisions were made, who made them, and whether they're good for Alamogordo. If the former city manager was raising concerns, enforcing rules, or requiring proper procedures to be followed, then removing that person raises even more questions. That's precisely the role. The commission can't expect the public to accept silence on a matter of this magnitude. Secondly, I'm deeply concerned about any effort to privatize, transfer control of public assets, including our parks, fields, green spaces, and our golf course. These places belong to people of Alamogordo. They were paid for by generations of taxpayers. They're not bargaining chips, and they're not private business opportunities. Before any step is taken towards privatization, outsourcing, sale, lease, or transfer of public control into private hands, the public should see the full record. That means proposal, appraisals, financial studies, communications, meeting notes, cost comparisons, and any discussion with private companies or interested parties. No public land or public service should be moved without transparency. Third, I'm troubled with the role of the current or existing contractors in these private discussions. It's clearly a conflict and calls into question the integrity of the procurement process. The public has a right to know exactly their involvement. Was the process truly open and competitive? Were alternatives considered? It appears to be preferential treatment for insiders who were given special access, influence, and information that the public and the workers didn't have. These are not small questions. These go straight to the integrity of our government. So tonight, I'm formally asking the City Commission and administration to release all public records related to the former city manager's release and settlement, any plans involving parks and the golf course, and any communication, involvement, or influence by current contractors or potential private operators. The people of Alamogordo are watching. Our families are watching. And this commission cannot make decisions about public land, public jobs, or public money behind closed doors and expect us to simply trust a process we cannot see. If these decisions are truly in the public interest, then prove it in public. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Katie Owens, and he's going to be speaking on current commissioner's recall.
You guys know what I look like. Hi, I'm Gordo. I'm a friendly neighborhood protester, just to remind you. Some of the stuff going on that you were elected for.
Please state your name.
I'm Katie Owens. The stuff that you were elected for, you are undoing. You offered her a contract. And instead of signing the contract and agreeing with her, instead you're going to, okay, we're going to buy her out. That's shady as hell. And I'm telling you the truth. And now what I personally know, because I've been here, what you're doing to the golf course employees is wrong. And I want to know how much you're getting in the contract, how much is going on behind closed doors. Because if we're not giving these answers, I'm going for recalls. And I got 3 of them eyeballed. Okay? You have a great day.
Thank you. And last on the agenda is Echo Johnson, and she's going to be talking about the Lita.
Hello again. My name is Echo Johnson. I'm not here to talk about the golf course or the city manager. I did see on the agenda that the Lita funds were being questioned about what their use was to be, and I just wanted to remind the commissioners that I do have an application in, and just wanted to make sure I wasn't forgotten about. So, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
For everyone that has a question about what's happening in these meetings, you do have the ability to IPRA emails and communications that happen within our city. That way you get it directly from the horse's mouth, not from any news source, fake or real, if that exists in our town. I'm sorry?
If you get a response.
If you get a response. So I would let you know that with that's not up to the commissioners, that would be another opportunity for you to be outraged that you're not able to get the information that you're looking for. So don't forget that you do have the opportunity to get the information that you're looking for if you don't feel like you're getting it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the city manager's report.
Good morning, good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Commission. First, I want to apologize. I had a family obligation. I wasn't sure when I was going to be here, and then I was listening to the meeting on my way here, and I played during the commission meeting. So, as always, I rely on my directors when I'm not available, so I had Shelley step in, and so she's actually going to say a few things about community development.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, Dr. Hernandez. I'm Shelley Dowhanick-Barron. I am the new Director of the Community Development Department, overseeing engineering, planning and zoning, and safety. And I just want to give you a brief update on how our department has been going the 2 weeks that I've been on board. We have a rock star of an engineer in Esther Sherman. She is a self-starter, go-getter, and she is taking all kinds of issues that the department has been faced with by the bullhorns, and she is taking care of business. We held a team building exercise today for just the department, and the number one focus of our department is customer service. We are streamlining all of our processes so we can respond to the public in a timely manner and just improving our communication with the public. My door is always open if any of you have any questions about how the department is going and what we're doing. Please come by. We will be fleshing out our department a little bit more. We will be hiring another inspector very shortly and making sure that all of our projects are up to city standards. So thank you.
And then I just wanted to do 2 quick reminders. The Altus Award is next week. That is at 5 o'clock at the Civic Center. You all have been invited. And then on Saturday at noon, there is a dedication of the Sheffield Clock and the Rutherford Star downtown, Main Street. And again, that's Saturday at noon. So I'll put that on your calendar as well.
Okay, thank you. Next is remarks and inquiries by the City Commission.
Something.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that the commission recognizes that this is Police Week throughout the country, and I'd like to thank all of the officers, all law enforcement officers, for what they do, and they get up and go to work every day and make sure that everybody's safe. In particular, I'd like to recognize one police officer. He's a really good friend of mine, Kerry Jarrett. Kerry Jarrett started his career with DPS in 1984. He retired in 2006 for 90 days, came back in 2006, and is still currently a police officer. So for the last 42 years, he's been helping protect the city of Alamogordo.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. I do have a couple of things that I wanted to mention, and I will start out with the Main Street, the ribbon cutting on Saturday, the 16th. The Sherfield, they're going to be donating a family clock, and there's a star in the road for Sheriff Rutherford, who was killed back years ago. So we have a memorial dedication for 12 o'clock. We have supplied the proclamation for both those items, and I will not be there on Saturday, so I am putting it out to first the Mayor Pro Tem Reardon, if he would be able to attend on Saturday at 12 o'clock.
What was it?
It's the proclamation read for the family clock for the Sherfield family, and also the proclamation for Sheriff Rutherford.
Let me talk with the better half and see what we have. We have a graduation deal this weekend for her granddaughter, so.
All right, and then if you're not able to actually do that.
Yeah, I may not be able to.
Okay, and then I would actually go to the Commissioner for District Number 5, if you would be able to do that.
Saturday at noon, I should be able to,
Okay,
yeah. Because I have a lot of friends that actually work for Mr. Sheffield, and the building where my wife works actually right now is owned by the Sheffields.
okay. So if you are not able to attend, I actually went to 3 different people. So I also asked Commissioner Robinson if there is any reason why you could not be there. We do have that, somebody else to stand in at 12 o'clock. So I wanted to extend that to all of you, that even if you're not able to attend, just keep that in mind.
Okay.
So at this point, we're going to have Commissioner Hernandez is going to be at New York Avenue at 12 o'clock, and the proclamations are already there. Okay. So all you have to do is receive them. The second thing that I wanted to mention is that we had the National Prayer Day on May 7th, and it was hosted by Christ Community Center. It was, we had a really good attendance. And one of the things I just wanted to remind people, when they need a proclamation, we can't do it that morning. So you need to have it in at least 5 days before. so they can actually have it done. I also attended the Living Wax Museum at Sunset Hills Elementary School on Monday, the 11th, and it was really unique. I said, because you had students that were dressed up like heroes, presidents, first ladies, people who worked with, just getting things done, justices, also people who worked with the civil rights movement. So it was extremely educational, and the kids had at least a little press button on their table where you could press it, and they had their little cards already filled out so you could hear what they had to say. And I think it was a unique way of getting social studies back into the school. And the reason why I know that part is because somebody told me that social studies was not in the elementary schools, and it was a good way to get it back in. The Altus Award, I just wanted to just mention that on May 20th, at 5 o'clock. They're going to be at the Civic Center for the celebration, and we're inviting all of the commission and people to show up that day for this award. And my voice is getting really cracked, and I need a little water. Last on the list is Alamogordo Citywide Cleanup. It's July the 18th. It's from 7 o'clock in the morning to 12. We have the headquarters is going to be at Dudley Community Center and Park, 523 Maryland Avenue. Free dumpsters provided in your district to dump your junk. Yard cleanup services are provided for seniors, disabled, and military. Free shredding will be at the Dudley Community Center from 10 to 12. The dumpster location is going to be Indian Wells and Scenic, 2201 Puerto Rico Avenue, and that's at the Senior Center, 817 North Scenic, New Beginnings Church parking lot, Panorama Boulevard next to the Fairfield Inn, Walker Road at the baseball park, Oregon School, 1500 Oregon Avenue, and of course there will be a dumpster at Dudley Community Center also. The other thing that I wanted to mention, that evening, this is for the people who will volunteer. We are purchasing 4 tickets to the Bart Crow concert, and for anybody that helps out, we will actually put your name in the drawing, and you can actually get a ticket for that night, so you can work in the morning and you can get entertained in the evening. And this is actually put on by Thrive, and so you will be able to, to connect and also contribute to not only Alamogordo for the cleanup, but also entertain and supply money to Thrive so they can continue to give money to our nonprofits in the city. And I think that's all I have tonight. So we will move on to the consent agenda. I've already got them. Okay. So for the consent agenda, we're going to be pulling item number 4 and 7. So we will go for the approval of 3, 5, and 6. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so it's been motioned by Commissioner Robinson, second by Commissioner Burnett. And we're going to go for the vote.
Commissioner Robinson,
I don't have anything on my screen. I'm ready to vote in the affirmative. Nothing's on my screen.
Click that, I think the e-vote button.
since you made the motion, you're voting yes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and the vote passes 7-0. Item number 4 is consider and act upon Resolution 2026-12, increasing the animal control fees, and this is for Dwayne Martinez, Animal Control Manager, and David McCauley, APD Lieutenant.
I just had a quick question here. Let me help. I'm trying to pop this up here. On the fees you're asking to increase,
Yes, sir.
figure this out here in a second.
Yeah, most of the fees at the top are generated by the veterinary clinics. We don't have any control over that. So the bottom half of the list are the increases that we've suggested.
Bear with me.
So while you're thinking, the only one I see in here that I kind of have a little bit of an issue with is the impound fee going from $20 to $100.
That is one that everybody across New Mexico and other places we've looked into have gone from 100 to 150. The reason we're asking for that increase because the $20 owner impound fee has been there since I started in 2010. So since then, we've had the cost of food go up. We've had the cost of shots, things like that go up a lot, probably about 40 to 50% in that area as far as medications. The housing of the animals, increasing and running the facility. So when we get an animal in that's owner impounded, we've got to come up with that money somewhere.
Yeah, all of the costs have gone up. Electricity's gone up, water's gone up, the chemicals for taking care of the animals has gone up. And it's gone up significantly, and these have been in place for at least 15 years. So what we would like to do is increase it to the point where we can at least give the animal a little bit of time, a little bit extra time, and offset some of those extra costs in order to maybe give them more time to get adopted out.
The county shelter has theirs, I believe it started out at 80, they went to 100, and they were talking about increasing it more. Las Cruces, El Paso, everybody has theirs about right around $100 to $110 to owner impound the animal because of the cost of housing the animal. It could be anywhere from 72 hours to we've had some that have been there for 12 months.
I mean, the only reason I'm asking is because would that turn somebody off from coming and getting their dog,
That's a surrender fee.
That's a
sir.
surrender fee. That's not.
If you want to get rid of your
No,
dog.
no, no. So the impound fee, that's a surrender fee?
Yes,
Surrender
Okay.
fee, sir.
So it's just worded wrong?
yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, that's still kind of, I'd rather them go to the shelter than be let out on the street as well, too, so just, okay.
We've also put into place a chipping. So when somebody adopts a dog from the shelter, there's a no-fee electronic chipping to each animal, which if the animal escapes or something like that should happen, it would help us identify the dog and return the dog to their owner.
Yeah, we put that together with the help of Dr. Hernandez, giving free microchips. So I went out to AKC, which is our microchipping company. It was a self-sustained program. Every 25 we sold, which was a box of microchips, which was $25, we would get a new box free. We've been doing that since I started. So Dr. Hernandez had the idea, hey, let's start microchipping so we can find the owners when we do find them, or the ones that are trying to owner impound them and tell us that they're not their animals. So far we started that at the 1st of May, and it's been pretty successful. We've had a lot of people coming in to get that free microchip.
I have one. What is the dangerous dog permit?
So a dangerous dog permit, we have a dangerous dog act in the state of New Mexico, that if a dog, it depends on the severity of a bite, the severity of attack, or how many times the dog is attacked. We go for a seizure warrant, seize the animal. Then we go before, it has to go through magistrate, and the owner has to come forward and defendant why they don't think it's dangerous, but of course we have what our investigation shows that it is dangerous. So in order for them to get it back, if the judge deems that they can get it back, that means they have to increase their fence. They have to put it through training. They have to get it fixed up to date with all shots. And then we have to go out there and inspect the fencing to make sure that that dog will no longer get out. If the judge feels like it's not, the dog is not manageable enough to be able to return to the owner, the judge will seize it, and then it turns it over to the city of Alamogordo, and then we destroy it humanely. And the time I've been there, I think we've had to do it. We've had several dangerous dogs go before the judge, and people, half of them complied about getting their fences fixed and doing what they needed to keep the animal, and the other ones hadn't, so they were turned back over to us, and we had to destroy it humanely because, as you know, sometimes animals are not rehabable. It all depends on how the owners raise them, and some of them are just raised to be pretty nasty, so.
What's the intact fee?
So the intact fee is if we pick up somebody's dog and they come into the shelter to reclaim it, if they have paperwork saying that their dog is purebred, which is through AKC, ADBA, through the National Registry, showing they have a lineage of the mother and the father, the name and sire, saying that this animal is 100% purebred, they can get it out one time under that rule.
Without being spayed or neutered.
Without being spayed or neutered, yes.
Any animal that comes in that doesn't have that paperwork will get spayed or neutered before they're returned to the owner because they already got out once. So we're trying to keep our population low. But if you do have a purebred dog and they want to use that dog for breeding purposes, they'll have to pay the intact fee to get their animal back without the procedure.
And then they have to get a breeding permit on top of that. But if the animal gets out again, that's the one-time get out of jail free card goes away.
What about the dead animal pickup? Is that just if you have an animal that's passed away, you
Yes,
guys will
sir.
come and get it?
Animal that's passed away at the house, at home, and it's, quite large, they don't know what to do with it, so we actually go out and
Pick them up.
pick them up.
Mark, do you have your question?
Yep, I do.
Sorry.
Sorry. So I just was, it just says approximate 5% increase. Now, based on the increase by vets, these fees are not 5% over what's on the left-hand side. I mean, they're more like 30 and 50%, or maybe even higher.
So that was set, like I said, so we had a contract contract runs for 1 year, but we can extend it for 2 years, okay? So we haven't been able to, so nothing gets increased over that time. And like I said, over the last 3 years, everything has increased. So if that 5% is still on there and it's not right, I apologize. But that is set by negotiating with the vets on what they can afford to give us a low-cost spay or neuter. Because some of the vets that are no longer doing the contract with us, if you go and ask them what the spay or neuter fee is for coming off the street, just private citizen, has gone up to anywhere between $500 to $600. And so we've been able to kind of keep it somewhat low.
So what was it? What was the fee prior to this increase?
The cost for our pricing?
There's no fee in here. It's blank, and then it says it's going to go to $204.50 for like a female.
He's talking about the cats.
The cats. I'm just working on the list, but
Yeah, so
it's
is that the total overall price with the shots and everything? At the bottom, is it?
It just goes right straight across. There's nothing, and then the current vet fee is 0. It doesn't say anything, and then it says $204.50. So
That is total with the cost of the shots, the rabies, our shots, the rabies, and the spay or neuter on the animal. So if you look at it, there's a cost for the female cats and there's a cost for the male cats. But how we've been able to keep that low is because we've partnered, like I said, with Kitty City, and we have every other weekend we're having events at the mall, and so we're able to partner with Kathy Denton through Kitty City, and so she has a very low cost spay or neuter with a vet up in Capitan. So
Correct.
that's how we've been able to try to keep that low.
Just because I've never been through this process, so if you get a cat, a dog, whatever, and you sterilize that dog or the cat and it comes back, I mean, how is this money, where does this money go? I mean, who's paying this? I mean, that's.
So it gets paid through us, it gets paid directly to us,
Okay.
and it comes into, we deposit it. But the only thing we get out of it is for the cats, is the feline shot, and the actual adoption fee. Everything else goes to the vet. The rabies has to be paid to the vet, and so does the fixing of the animal goes to the vet. That cost to get the animal fixed. So they bill us on a monthly basis, and then they get paid for what they've done as far as a spay or neuter on the animals.
Okay, I guess you don't understand my question. So if this $204.50 is being charged, who is paying that $204.50?
The person that's adopting the animal.
Okay, so if someone comes in and adopts a cat, a female cat, and you guys fix that cat, they're gonna pay $204.50?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
And then what we get out of it from the city is just the adoption fee and our feline shot. That's all we get out of it. The rest has to be paid to the vet through the billing, because they bill us on a monthly basis.
So do you feel like there's any way possible that you feel like if it was lower, that more cats or more dogs would be?
If it was lower, absolutely, but the vets, that's what they had gone to because of their cost when it comes to the anesthetizing of the animal before surgery, the follow-up after surgery, the tools that they have to use to be able to fix the animal. So their pricing is, because I sat with Dr. Hayes when we were going over this, and he showed me his billing from 3 years ago to now.
Yeah, I get it.
And it was just insane. They're not making any money off of us either. They're doing it at a low cost to us as, for the citizens. And that's why the other vets have actually backed out.
I apologize, I'm trying to understand the process.
No, sir.
So
Yes,
it's,
right. No, yeah.
So, okay. I've always paid to have my cats and dogs fixed, so.
Yes, sir. And like I said, it's gone. If you were to walk into one of the vets right now, you'd fall over backwards.
I just feel like if this fee was a little bit less, and I don't know if you pick up a cat and decide, hey, yeah, we're gonna fix this cat, and then we adopt, or you adopt it first and then have it fixed. I don't know how that process works.
Yeah, so if you adopt from us, you have to have it fixed through us.
Okay.
You can't just pick it up, take it home, and decide not to.
Gotcha.
And the reason we started doing that when I started is because there was a lot of inbreeding, or not inbreeding, but backyard breeding, especially with the pit bulls. So if somebody could come in and pick up their dog and pay just a $25 fee to pick it up, and then they would say, yeah, I'm gonna get it fixed. Yeah, I'm gonna get it fixed. Well, they're out $25, and then they go get it, then they go breed it. Now they're charging $1,500 per dog. To them, that $25 is a drop in the bucket.
I would like to probably see these fees a little bit lower. I mean, that's my personal opinion, because
Yes, sir. I would love to also.
If it's
Like,
one of those that,
If for the dogs, we were charging last year about $180 per animal, and now you can see what it's gone up to.
okay.
I'm just going to interject just a second. David Kunihiro for the record. Those fees are obviously controlled mostly by the vets and the work they're doing. But what we've been able to do is get some grant opportunities, which is when we're offering half off or free adoptions. The grant monies are covering those, so we can try to help get these animals adopted out of the shelter.
Yes, sir. We have the grant we're using now is through the veterinarian board. It's a $40,000 grant, so we've been able to offer free spay or neuter or free microchipping. So I work with Deb Osborne on a daily basis. We have another grant that we're putting in for again through Carol Petrie. Every year they say, hey guys, you've done a good job on what you've done, so here's another grant. Their grants have decreased, but still, it's nice when you can get $20,000 and be able to offer prices, cheaper prices.
And then also in addition to that, we've met to have some RFPs go out, see if we can get veterans around our area and maybe go do a transportation to get them spayed or neutered at a lower cost.
I was talking about the van. Transportation.
That's all I got.
All right. Do I have a motion to, on the item number 4?
So moved.
And second?
Second.
So it's been moved by Commissioner Hernandez, second by Commissioner Robinson. We're going to put it up for vote.
Came up this time.
And the vote passes 7-0. Item number 7, consider and act upon approval of change order 1 in the amount of $80,135.50, excluding NMGRT, to National Construction for changes in the state wage rate and rates and sidewalk addition. And this is going to be Joseph Samora, project manager. Hi.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. I have a brief summary of the change order number 1 for Fire Station 2. The proposed sidewalk addition is necessary to comply with city requirements mandating the installation of new curb and gutter along with the new sidewalk. Because the city is requiring its own departments to adhere to these specifications, it's in the city's best interest to have its projects install these infrastructure improvements. These improvements give a consistent framework that supports and guides future infrastructure department. The current cost for this improvement is $74,232.26. In addition to this increase, I have provided you with the new wage rates for the Fire Station 2 project. These are the new rates for 2026, totaling $5,903.24. This is the rate increase due to the change in the wage rate decision to 2026 B rates, bringing today's total change order to $80,135.50. Originally, this rate was a 2025 rate. However, the bidding was overdue to the state's timeframe. The state had us delete the project and complete a new one. Since we created the new one in January, the rate had to change to 2026.
Quick question on that. How many lineal feet of sidewalk are you doing? Seems like an awful lot of money for, is this the sidewalk along the road, along Walker?
Yeah, well, it's gonna include 3 drive pads.
Okay.
And it's gonna go approximately 156 feet from.
A 5-foot wide sidewalk?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then 3 drive pads?
Yeah.
It'll probably be a little bit beefier because of the fire trucks going
Exactly,
over.
6 inches is
6 inch, okay.
what the standards say.
Did you have a question?
No, I just asked to pull it off because of the amount and just to be transparent.
Also, on this one, since it's due to that fire station, I'm going to abstain from voting on this one, so.
Okay, all right. All right, so do we have a motion?
I'll make motion to accept.
Do I get a second?
Second.
Okay, and it's been motioned by Commissioner Hernandez, second by Commissioner Robinson. We're going to put it to the vote. So the vote passes with 6-4 and 1 abstention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is consider and act upon ordinance 1724 for the first publication, an ordinance repealing Chapter 22 subdivision requirements of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Alamogordo, New Mexico, and adopting updated subdivision regulations in Chapter 20, Land Development Code, and this is going to be Liz, tree planner, but it looks more like Shelley Theron, Community Development Director.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, Dr. Hernandez. We're here this evening to present the first hearing of the proposed ordinance changes. It's a repeal of Chapter 22 of the Code of Ordinances, inputting a new code in Chapter 20. It's to update the regulations so that they are more modernized with current construction practices and also with other municipalities and what they're doing. We are looking, obviously, to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Alamogordo through these changes. Tonight, we have Liz Treat from Bohannon Houston, who has been our planner consultant on putting the ordinance together. And we also have Shelby Abbott, who is the assistant city planner for the city of Alamogordo. Liz is going to be making the presentation, but we're all here to answer any questions you might have. Come on up, Liz.
Thank you. The presentation is getting set up. Yeah. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. My name is Liz Treat. I'm a planner with Bohannon Houston. Thank you for your time this evening. I'm going to give a brief presentation and just go over the subdivision regulations code update at a high level. Why update the subdivision regulations? The regulations need to be updated to reflect current best practices, improved clarity and usability, and to ensure that the infrastructure will be developed to meet the needs of the citizens of Alamogordo. Extensive engagement was conducted as part of the update process. I was able to conduct stakeholder meetings with 12 city staff, 6 elected officials, and 7 developers and contractors, as well as hold 3 public meeting opportunities. All comments were documented, considered, and incorporated as appropriate. Based on stakeholder interviews, I learned that the subdivision review and approval process had been somewhat mishandled in the past because the standards were not clear and because standards were missing. How are the subdivision regulations changing? Mainly, the code is being restructured to enhance clarity and ease of use. Clarity was added to the different applications and review processes. The updated code includes performance, financial guarantee, and warranty bond mechanisms that I will go over briefly. The current subdivision regulations were adopted over 20 years ago. They exist separately from other land development code in the municipal code. And the sections are structured like a long grocery list, so it's not very easy to find things. The updated subdivision regulations will be incorporated into a comprehensive land development code and are neatly organized into 4 sections, so you know where to find everything. The first section includes the purpose, applicability, and jurisdiction. The next section includes the subdivision processes. And this is just a flow chart giving a brief overview of that. This slide shows a flow chart of the major platting process, which includes the process for review and approval of a preliminary plat and subsequent final plat. The third section of the updated subdivision regulations goes into detail on when to submit and what is required for a subdivision development plan, preliminary plat, construction plans, and final plat. The last section of the updated code ensures that adequate public facilities are constructed through the use of a development agreement, exception request requirements, performance financial guarantee, warranty bond, and standards for streets, blocks, lots, and parks. The updated code allows the developer to file a final plat with the county prior to completion of infrastructure by providing the city with a performance financial guarantee. When the infrastructure is substantially complete, the performance financial guarantee is returned and a warranty bond is provided to the city for 1 year. That is an overview of the subdivision regulations ordinance before you tonight. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to help answer any questions you have.
Are there any questions on this ordinance?
I have one. Stephanie, Doug sent an email. Obviously, I'm sure we all read it with his concerns.
Yes.
Did you ever reach back out to him?
I did, and Shelley also spoke with him. Since this is the first reading of the publication, we are still taking all the feedback. The earliest this will come back is June 9th. That's the earliest. So if we get a lot of feedback, we will work through all of those and incorporate them or discuss why we can or cannot. So yes, we did respond to him.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think 2 points that he made were going from the 50-year flood to the 100-year flood, and then the retention ponds. Those are the 2 main items that I saw in his
Maintenance,
concern.
the maintenance on the
main-
retention ponds.
On the retention ponds, yeah.
Then I had a couple comments on it too. The bonding in there, the warranty guarantee, the financial guarantee, is there any way to do a cost analysis of what that's gonna cost those developers to do those? You know, right now, we've got the public screaming at us that we need affordable housing, but that's going to increase, you know, with the tech standards in 2022, it increased the cost of those lots by, you know, $3,500, $4,500 a piece. That bonding requirement is going to increase the cost of this for each subdivision. The traffic studies are going to increase the cost. Going from a 50-year to a 100-year floodplain is going to substantially increase the cost. Let's see, and then the maintenance, if I'm reading it right, it's saying the overflow ponds or the detention ponds in there in the ordinance will be the responsibility of the developer, and for how long will it be theirs, or when will the city take over that maintenance of those? And then I had a quick question too on the notice to proceed. I understand the city wanting the you know, the plans and everything in place, but how do you tell somebody they're not allowed to move dirt around on their own property without your permission? Does that make sense? They're actually investing the money, creating the subdivision, putting in all the infrastructure, and then handing it over to the city of Alamogordo. I don't know why we would fine them for, you know, because a lot of times they'll want to go in and clear the land, do their geotechnical before they get an approved plan to the city. But if they break ground prior to that, then we're going to fine them according to this. So I had a little bit of a question on that. You know, maybe put some stipulations in there. You're allowed to do a little bit of, you know, preliminary dirt work prior to submitting the plat to the city, so you kind of know what you're up against with your geotechnical and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good question. I think the way it's written, it's meant to say that, you know, construction to start development of what's on the final plat, you know, before that can get started, and to make sure that, you know, what's planned meets what's in the construction documents and what's in the development agreement, and making sure that the materials that are going to go in are up to the city standards. So I think that the way the code is written, it's meant to be for after final plat is approved, and not really meant to tell a developer they can't do what they want with their property, you know, prior to the subdivision application process. I think that's how it's meant to be understood.
There's a penalty for beginning work on the subdivision before a notice to proceed.
Yeah.
So if they go in and, you know, a lot of times these guys will go in and kind of rough in the lots, rough in where the streets go prior to putting any infrastructure in. If they don't particularly have their plat approved by the city at that point, I don't understand how we can hold them responsible or fine them for that.
I believe this is how it's written in the technical standards currently, so that is
Okay.
the process that we're following here.
Okay.
And the only time that we have done anything is when they're working in the right of way, because we have had this issue come up, and when they're just moving dirt, and Fairgrounds is the one that comes to mind, and they were moving dirt around, but when they started working in the right of way is when we had to.
A lot of times they'll rough in the right of way and then rough in the lots. So they're working in what will be the right of way, but they still own the property until the city accepts it. So it's kind of a catch-22, because technically it's their land until we accept it.
Yes.
So, and then like I say, I would like on the traffic studies, or and then the 100-year flood, and then the bonding requirements, I would like to know what kind of a financial impact that's going to have on these subdivisions. So I think it's going to really hinder development in our community.
I have a question. So on some of the issues that are coming up tonight, were they actually reviewed and discussed during the, like prior to tonight?
They were.
So did you, was that a point that, it seems like you were looking at the items that needed to be corrected or something looked at to see what else needed to be done? So are we, I think you had like 4 points that you brought up?
Yeah, there's 4 or 5.
In terms of the performance financial agreement and that being 110%, we looked at some peer communities. And Las Cruces, for example, requires 125% of the total cost of infrastructure. So we lowered it from that, the standard of the peer community. So we did kind of look and see what else was out there and what other cities were doing. The warranty bond, we started out at 15%. And I think we did end up lowering that to 10% based on feedback that we got from the development community and their concerns with having to provide that warranty bond. But they'll get this money back as long as the infrastructure is constructed.
Are we going to allow phasing of the subdivisions like we have in the
Oh,
past?
yeah, of course.
Okay,
Yep.
I didn't see anything in there. And then one other question I had, and it's kind of pertaining to this, is it's in section 2004-040, letter E. It states that the developer shall agree to lay and construct all paving, curb and gutter and sidewalk, which I understand it. But the sidewalks, do they have to go in prior to it being accepted?
No,
Okay, so they can go in as the lots are sold and the homes are built?
yes.
Okay, because it doesn't really state that way. It just says that they'll.
That was one of the concerns that they had when, at the thing, that they
I
bring
was
that up.
there, I mean, I
Yeah,
remember it
yeah.
being in there, but.
Yeah, we changed the code maybe in a different section to say that they have 5 years to put all of the
To
sidewalks
get all of
in.
the sidewalks. What if you have a lot that just isn't selling? I guess the developer has to go and put the sidewalks in,
Right.
even though they don't know where the driveways and stuff will be.
Right.
Okay.
They can ask for extension for a year, correct?
I believe that there could be an extension.
And then it's also that same section, item M, long-term maintenance of improvements such as drainage ponds shall be the responsibility of the property owner. I'm not quite sure with that,
Yeah, that's
subdivider's
pretty-
not gonna wanna maintain that 50 years from now, but they're gonna be held to that.
That's pretty typical from my understanding with peer communities, is that, the city wouldn't take on the responsibility of drainage ponds. That would be on the property owner. So if the developer is not the property owner in the future, maybe there's some sort of HOA fees or, some sort of setup or situation where, that doesn't fall back on the city to maintain drainage ponds on that private property. From what I understood, the city is not able to maintain, private subdivision parks and landscaping as it has done in the past. It's just not, the Parks Department is not able to continue to do that. So that kind of falls under that realm as well.
So the parks and stuff in these newer subdivisions, the city's no longer accepting them and maintaining them?
Well, we're no longer requiring them either. So we're not requiring them, and if the subdivider wants it in there, then it would be up to the subdivision to maintain it if they want it in there. There was a time when we used to require.
And the drainage ponds, is that more in the commercial side as far as the maintenance of those, or so most of the residential ones, it flows into the street and then flows down to wherever, per their drainage plan?
I think it depends on the situation. Yeah, I don't think that drainage ponds are always required in every situation, but, certain types of developments, maybe commercial, I think sometimes subdivision, residential.
Like I say, once it's built out and that subdivider's out of it and doesn't have any lots to sell, I can understand their side of that. not wanting to have to maintain that after, for, like say 50 or 100 years down the road,
Yeah.
so.
Mayor, Commissioners, my experience in the past dealing with retention ponds and drainage structures of that type they normally are turned over to the city, and the city does maintain them in perpetuity. It is not on the developer. However, I believe that the commission as a whole would have to approve that as a new city policy, that we would take on that long-term cost.
That's how it was done in the past. Like say drainage ditches and any kind of drainage structures in the subdivisions. Once it was accepted, I think it became the city's responsibility, just like the roads do. The subdivider does it for a year or two or however long they need to, and then it falls on the city to maintain that infrastructure. So.
Well, I think as far as the retention ponds are concerned, I think it should be the responsibility of the subdivision, whoever owns it. It should be their responsibility, because I think for the city, you're constantly trying to get enough people on the maintenance crew to actually service those areas. And I think that we should have the community property. That should be our main concern, and not the subdivision retention ponds. So however it was done in the past, I just see that that is a responsibility that the city should not have to keep forever.
The retention pond's purpose, though, is to catch the water that's running down the streets and kind of control it and release it at a slower rate, I'm assuming, or store it till it can evaporate. And I think it'll be an issue in the future in these subdivisions when it's built out, the subdivider doesn't care about it anymore, and the city's going to be getting the calls, hey, we need this cleaned up. What if we can't find the owner of that subdivision? What do we do?
Right. The long-term policy of the city has been to restrict runoff from any parcel of land that is being developed to pre-development rate. That has been our long-standing policy. And, whether they design a retention pond on site or they use different types of material with different permeabilities to contain that runoff within the development. But again, as I said, I think this might be a change in city policy. If we want to codify it, that either we don't take the ponds on or we do take them on. Conveyances through ditches is a little different because it's not being held within the development area.
The issue that we had at Drunzer's here, that drain, is that supposed to go under the road? Flow under the road into the Aurora?
Which subdevelopment was that?
Off of Panorama.
Quail Hollow, too.
Quail Hollow 2. It was, I believe, correct? Yes.
It's supposed to go under the road?
Yes. Yeah. Do you know that one?
And then at that point, we would take care of responsibility after the fact if something happens there?
Well, if it's under the road, we have to maintain it and clean it.
Within our right-of-way. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and that's one of the other issues is like, Mike Drunger's been building houses as long as I have. And he's, if not retired, he's fixing to retire. And a bunch of the other guys that were doing developments have retired. So once they're out, I mean, how do you chase them down? You know, that would be my issue with it.
They pass away, who is responsible for it? That's kind of where I was, heading with that. I think the city ought to assume responsibility once the subdivision is accepted. And
As a part of the
It's
infrastructure.
part of the infrastructure
Is
portion
it
of it.
when it's accepted or when it's completed?
And it's accepted by the city, because essentially when it's completed is when we accept it, correct?
Unless it's
Yeah.
in phases,
Well,
right?
post-warranty,
Right.
right?
that?
After the warranty
Yes,
expires.
after the warranty period, yeah.
Yeah.
You
1
accept
year.
it, then we have the 1-year warranty period, and then at that point, then we would assume, the city would assume the responsibility for
Right.
cleaning those.
Commissioner, I think what we can do is we can go back and just research, what our history has been, what is, current standards and best practices in other communities similar to Alamogordo, and look at it more in depth.
Do we know how many retention ponds there are?
Just depends on the development.
We don't have a number.
I don't have an answer for that right now.
It's quite a
I
few.
just, when a developer's, giving you million and a half dollars worth of infrastructure, a couple $1 million. Just putting it in, building it, and then giving it to the city, it's kind of, I think, once they're done, it's built out, it's been there for a year or two or whatever, and I think the city needs to assume that responsibility. So.
Okay. I've taken notes of all the comments that you've made tonight, so thank you.
I'd like to ask a question for clarifying on which subdivisions will be subject to a traffic impact analysis and how that's determined.
Yeah, good question. I was just going to comment on that. So that process is actually still being developed. So I think maybe that will live in the technical standards document or somewhere else in terms of, what the threshold would be for what the different intensity of traffic analysis that would be needed for different subdivisions. So that hasn't really been decided yet. But yeah, so that kind of speaks to like the expense of the traffic analysis will be, will be relative to the size of the, subdivision. And yeah, so it won't be the same level of analysis for every type and size of subdivision.
And have we ever done traffic study in subdivisions before? Or is this just a new thing?
We haven't typically done them, but we have done them.
What was the most recent one, do you know?
Was it Mesa Village? Oh, you're right, Somerset. It was Somerset, we did one Mesa Village, but Somerset, I think, was the last one. You're correct.
And how is that fee assessed?
Is that what you're asking, Commissioner?
Correct.
The fee for the traffic study? I'm not. Okay. Okay.
I don't know if there would be a fee.
From
I think the
us.
developer would have that privately done, and then it would just be a part of the application fee.
And so the developer would pay that?
Correct.
Thank you.
Did the developer do the study on their own, or was that something that we required them to do?
We
For
would, the city would require the developer.
But for the Somerset one, was that a requirement?
Shelby
or-
Abbott, I believe so, Assistant City Planner for the record. And the only thing I can kind of liken this to is for commercial development, a
Right.
restaurant wants to come in, they have to do a traffic study.
right.
So.
That's
and
understandable.
And that's on them. I don't ever see the fees or anything for those. So that's what I can liken this to. Okay.
And are other communities moving to this traffic study? Is that why we're trying to
Yes.
adopt it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, just to, make sure that the community is not negatively impacted by any increased traffic and things like that. Yeah, it's pretty common practice now in cities of this size.
And so we're okay with narrowing down how that's assessed? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be a good idea.
Thank you.
I wanted to go back to the retention pond. If the city is going to look at maintaining, is there some type of, process that the pool or the pond has to maintain over the years in order for the city to continue to do the maintenance? Because people come in and change things all the time. And so as a result of changing the way that retention pond is set up, is there something that the city will draft whereas it has to maintain a certain, size, or, it has to have certain things in there, because people can come on that property and change things at any time. And then the city is still expected to care for it or maintain it. So is there anything on the city side that it can be guaranteed if we're having that responsibility?
So it would be turned over to the city, and so they could not do that. So it would be similar to like our public works one or the one out here. There's a standard that it has to meet,
Okay.
The depth, the slope, the grade. So once, if the commission decides to make that part of the city's responsibility, then it would be city property, and they could not change it.
I believe there's also an ordinance that disallows you from entering into a ditch or a pond like
Detention
that.
pond or
Okay.
whatever.
Yes, there is.
Like all the people that
Okay,
ride their side-by-sides down them.
Right.
Were there any concerns that we didn't at least try to address? I don't remember them all.
Because what? I'm sorry.
Were there any other concerns that we didn't discuss?
I think per that email from Mr. Nelson, there was some other minor stuff, but these were the main ones, I
The
think.
cost.
The cost is the big one to me because, like I say, the tech standards in 2022 increased a pretty good, increase in the cost of a lot. And I want to avoid increasing the cost of the subdivision any more than what we already have with these standards. So, like I say, the traffic study is going to be a big one. I really don't think in a residential neighborhood, traffic studies are really warranted. But, so I think all of those ought to be looked at and some cost associated with those brought to us so we can make a better informed decision on that part of it, so.
Mark, Commissioner Robinson, did you have any questions? Okay, all right. So are we ready to vote on this item number 8? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
Just the first reading, correct?
yes,
Yes.
That it wouldn't come back till June 9th?
yes.
That's the earliest it could come back, depending on if we get any feedback between then and now. It could be a meeting after that.
All right, so it has been moved by Commissioner Burnett and seconded by Commissioner Robinson. We're going to go for the vote. And we have 6 say yes and 1 no. And it passes. So the next item is consider and act upon ordinance 1725 for the first publication, authorizing the execution and delivery of a loan and subsidy agreement in the amount of $3 million. Is that 3 million? Yes, $3,083,455 between the City of Alamogordo and New Mexico Finance Authority. Evelyn Huff, Finance Director.
Is not here. So you got me. I sent you an email earlier. I apologize for not sending that out to show you what the area was. Back in September, the commission approved us to apply for this. We really weren't sure that we would get it, and we did. The Water Board Trust approved it. So we have a match on this. The loan be about $3 million. The match is about $462. The money will be coming from Fund 69. The balance in that is over $2 million. So we have the funding for this. This is a pretty decent deal for us. The area, for the record, is the Granada Hill areas, which includes Los Robles, Del Prado, Serrano, El Dorado, Granada, a portion of 18th Street, La Cresta, and Stonecliff. And then I had printed a little map for the commission, and I apologize, my coloring wasn't the best, but just so you can see where the area was.
I did get it, and I do have the memo here that I printed out. Are there any questions on item number 9?
Can I ask what the loan would cover scope-wise?
So the loan covers it's a WSRP 007, so it covers both the water infrastructure and the roads.
So a total redo of all
Yes, sir.
water lines and roads
Yes,
on
sir.
those streets?
Yes, similar to Oregon.
Thank you.
Quick question, will it incorporate any work with the newer subdivision that's going in up there off of 18th Street?
Will it incorporate, I'm sorry, any work
Yeah, will it have anything to do with any of that new subdivision that's going in up there?
off of 18th Street?
Off of 18th.
That's a good question. I think it goes straight up to that area, if I remember correctly. Do you know, Shelley? You were talking about, is that the developer? I'm sorry.
White Sands?
White Sands Construction. I'm not sure if it incorporates any of that area.
So, okay.
If they're putting in new,
Well, they'll probably put in their infrastructure and then it'll tie into the existing,
Tie on 18th with.
tie in at 18th Street? Okay.
and I think that, I don't know about anybody else, but I have been receiving calls from people who are talking about the roads and their condition on Los Robles, Del Prado, El Dorado.
No shortage of bad roads in Alamogordo. So,
Well, this is just like, the calls have been coming in the last couple of months.
And then
So,
unrelated but related, we are working on
Yeah.
WSRP 002, which is the Alaska area and all that. So we'll have both of those probably going on around the same time.
And just for the record, I do a lot of work for White Sands Construction. It is the development company and not the construction company, but does anybody have a problem with me voting on this loan agreement? Just for the record, being transparent. So, no? Okay.
I think one or the other has anything.
All right,
to-
do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Tapley and second by Commissioner Patello. We're going to put it up for the vote. And it passes 7-0. Item number 10 is discussion and direction regarding the final allocation of remaining Lita funding. Stephanie Hernandez, Acting City Manager.
So a while back, I said I would bring this when I had all the quotes and information. As you recall, last year we had an application. I turned away a whole bunch of applications because I was assuming the commission was going to award the funding. When that application was pulled, reaching back out, we were accepting applications again. So I didn't review them, I didn't analyze them, I didn't really look at them, I just did a little quick summary, and I can't even say I actually did, I had someone do it for me, of the applications, and then there are also some quotes in there for demo for La Placita, and then for the organ school. And really, this is just a, what would you all like to do?
Is it, how much is in the fund, 1.7?
It's
1.9?
It's about 900,000, but it will probably be back to $1 million. We need to do some corrections in that fund. Take out the assistant city manager, myself, is, part of my salary was taken from that. We should have removed that, so that'll take some of that salary, put it back in there. So it'll be up to about 900, close to $1 million.
Okay, and I have reviewed the 6 applications that were placed on the agenda tonight, and I just wondered, does anybody else have any comments?
Is there a deadline when these Lita funds have to be expended?
No, sir.
So do we have any idea what the commission would like to put forth as ideas on how the money should be spent? I see a couple of people in the audience tonight. So,
These leader requests kind of all over the place. We got, what, 1.3, 542, 100,000. But we only have around 900 to $1 million.
Yes, sir.
I would make a motion that we table this item.
Second that motion, but I have a quick question. Do you have the dates that these, I don't know if they're on here, hold on, that they came in?
I don't have it on there, and I'm not 100% sure if it's on the applications itself.
Okay,
I just loaded them in there. I don't know.
okay. I'll second his motion to table.
Okay, are we in agreement with that? Everybody in agreement?
There's a vote on it.
There's a
Okay.
vote. Motion.
All right, so it's been motioned by Commissioner Patella and second by Mayor Pro Tem Reardon that we table the vote until, or this decision?
Just
to-
table the item.
Table item until when?
Just, I just need additional information. I kind of want to see when they came in, that kind of
Can you
stuff.
say that again? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
I
you.
said, just wanted additional information, kind of like when they came in, you know, the dates and times, who was first, who was second, that kind of stuff. 'Cause there is quite a few of these.
Okay, all right. So we're going to vote? Or do we need to vote?
You have to
Well,
vote.
it's just for discussion.
Yeah, vote to,
It is
Discuss?
discussion and direction.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, it was.
So we just need to give you direction that we're going
Okay,
to table
can
it
you-
until we get further information.
Yes, so just information on the applications itself?
Yeah, like I say, there's what, 1, 2, 3,
6.
4, 5, 6, plus the 4 for the city.
Yeah, the 2 on the bottom for the
We need to take.
demolition.
I don't think.
So
I
I guess
don't
the,
really feel we should be using economic development money for demoing city properties
I thought it was,
personally.
didn't you, did you ask?
so I guess the first question, or the first question to answer is, there's 3 possible uses for this funding. Lita applications, you could use it for Natorium as part of the contingency fund, or you can use it for demo. That was passed in the resolution, or in the ordinance on referendum. I guess that's a decision that's the first decision you need to make, and then after that, and this of course doesn't have to be made tonight, but when this does come back, I guess that would be the questions that need to be asked.
So it's to start with the referendum for the natatorium?
The use of funds,
Okay.
how you want to use the funds.
And then,
And then I'll get you the additional information, and then you can decide.
will that be at the next meeting?
If that's the only information that's requested, that's a simple, that's simple. So it could be at the next one, so dates when it came in, that was it? Dates and time, is that the only thing?
All right, thank you.
Then I'd like a breakdown that just shows the amount they're requesting instead of having to read through them.
I did, on the very first page.
Have it on?
They're on here.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
on the agenda report itself.
Oh, okay. Hang on, let me get to that page.
The next,
Is there a motion second on the floor?
yeah.
It's
yeah.
not, it's just for discussion though.
It's just a-
I have to rescind my second, and he rescinds his motion. 'cause-
Number 11 is appointments to boards and committees, and that's by me. And so we have one for the airport zoning board, and it's one upcoming vacancy for an applicant who lives in the city due to an expiring term of Billy Tucker on May 28th, 2026. A new application by Billy Tucker has been received. If reappointed, this would be his second term on the board. Are there any objections to appointing Billy Tucker to the airport zoning board? If not, then Billy Tucker is reappointed. There is one current vacancy for a county-appointed representatives for the Alamogordo Public Library Board. There are no current vacancies for Park and Recreation Board. The Senior Volunteer Program Advisory Council 5 current vacancies for applicants who live within the city limits, and for the Airport Advisory Board, there are no current vacancies. So I think that sums that up. Next on the agenda, it's a motion to recess into executive closed session pursuant to NMSA 1978-10-15-1 H2 for the purpose of discussing limited personnel matters, hiring of the city manager.
Got a quick question. City Clerk, could we put on the record who called the exec session again, please?
Yes, so I was asked to put it on by the city manager because she got feedback from the commission that they wanted a.
I got feedback
Executive closed
from Daryl and Evelyn that the commission wanted it. I wasn't sure, so I asked Rachel, better to have it if you need it, or you can table it if you don't.
And then what will we actually be discussing tonight in that executive session?
It's the hiring of the city manager. Beyond that, I don't know what to answer because I don't know.
I just,
I
per
will-
the advice of our legal counsel, we were told till everything's settled not to do anything with the hiring of the manager. So that's why I was a little puzzled when it came on, so when I seen it, so. And then do we actually need to recess, or do we just need to adjourn if we do end up going back to discuss anything?
Like I said, that's your decision. I had just been told through the grapevine, and I wasn't sure who to ask. So we put it on there just in case, and then we put it on to reconvene. If you don't want to, that's a commission decision.
I just want to make sure we're not violating the Open Meetings Act by discussing something that's not.
Well, I had been informed that there were two of the commissioners that had, or the mayor pro tem and the commissioner had sent word to legal. So it was to discuss a personnel matter.
Sent legal, what did I send? Oh, sorry.
Brian Nichols, who
I
was,
had just called for an update, that was it.
well, I didn't ask what it was about, but we were meeting in regards to the most updated information that I had received from Attorney Isaacson.
Are Lynn and Brian going to be?
Yes, they are. They're on.
The problem I have with it is it's published as hiring of the city manager instead of threatened and pending litigation. I think it should be limited personnel matters.
And we can change that because when I saw it, that's what I was looking at too.
We can't tonight. It would
Can't
have
change
to
it.
be,
Okay.
we would have to call a special meeting and have it published correctly. But if we're going to be talking with the two attorneys, it really needs to be threatened and pending litigation. So we don't have an open meetings violation. I just wanted to bring it up because I was a little puzzled when it said hiring of the manager on there, so.
Well,
I don't know how the
If
rest of the
we're,
commission.
if we're not
feels.
going to be doing that, then
we can actually just move to.
Adjourn.
And I need to contact the two legal people to let them know because they are waiting.
If they have an update for us, I'm not against getting the update, but we just need to make sure we're published correctly so we're not violating.
Exactly. I agree with you. So at this time, we are,
We'll have to make a motion on this and then it'll either pass or fail and then adjourn. So,
well, I want to make sure that we also contact our,
yeah.
the two legal people who are waiting. So the motion to recess into executive closed session pursuant to NMSA 1978-1015-1 H2 for the purpose of discussing limited personnel matters, hiring of a city manager. So how do you motion?
If you want to table, if you want to table it, you have to make a motion to table it, or you can ask for a vote and you can vote it down.
Right.
Either one.
That's why we voted down. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Tapley and second by Commissioner Hernandez.
Burnett.
Burnett, okay. To table the motion, to table the Motion, yes.
Is the motion to table or the motion to recess?
To vote on it, just a motion
We're gonna vote
of
on it.
recess. And then we can vote no, or however we want.
So just for clarification, are you going to executive session or not?
We're voting to
We're
go
voting-
to or not go.
Not
For
go.
whether to go or not, yes.
So if they vote yes, they're going. If they vote no, they're not going. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Or we can make a motion to table it.
If you make a motion to table it, you're making a motion to table this
Just
item.
right, yeah. So we'll just vote on it.
Violation.
Okay, so you're
Yes,
making a
I know
motion to
what we
table
did
it?
motion for.
We're voting not to go.
Okay. Okay, so in that case, you can do your vote, and if
Just
you're
say
gonna,
no.
you can just all vote no on
Right.
going back there, instead of tabling it. If that's what you wish to do.
Yes.
Okay, so who's,
I seconded, Mark made the
Commissioner
motion.
Capley and Commissioner Burnett, the motion and the second.
And the motion was for,
To go into
To
recess.
recess into it, but if we vote no, then it kills it, so.
And the motion fails 7-0. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second? So it's been moved by Commissioner Robinson and second by Commissioner Hernandez to adjourn.
We got to vote.
we still have to vote.
Yes, oh, we got it up here. And the vote passes 7-0.